Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks everyone for being here for our business meeting, City of Herman. We're going to start off tonight with a guest, Ewell Lawson, who's the VP and COO of Mapua, MPUA, Mudgmuck, and MOPEP, our electric suppliers. And he has a little presentation. I'm going to come down there. And Ewell, why don't you, I think everyone knows about the company, but go ahead and tell us about it. And I'll stand back so you're
Okay.
not crowding you.
Good evening. My name is Ewell Lawson. I work for the Missouri Public Utility Alliance. And first, I just wanted to say that you should be proud of the work you're doing here in your community and how you are leveraging your community-owned utility to do it. From the partnership with Calabite to bring fiber to Herman, to your work to have 60 megawatts of wind power added to the MOPEP portfolio that will bring a savings of about $10 million to the power pool and specifically to $230,000 in annual savings to Herman's costs. I want to say thank you for that leadership. MPUA is a multifaceted organization of over 115 municipal utilities across Missouri, which provide water, wastewater, natural gas, electric, and broadband services, including the operation of a municipal cooperative called the Missouri Joint Municipal Electric Utility Commission. You may have heard that as MUDGMUC. But mainly, I'm here today to talk to you about a service we operate for 35 cities, which provide wholesale electric supply to the city of Herman, the Missouri Public Energy Pool. You may have heard that as MOPEP. Herman was one of the original cities with the foresight to bring cities together and achieve greater economies of scale when acquiring their power and creating MOPEP. So over the past couple years, members of MUDGMUC have worked to improve the internal operations of the municipal cooperative. This work has led to enhanced creditworthiness, and in the last 3 years, MUDGMUC has been able to refund some of its bond holdings on power projects such as Iatan 2, Plum Point, Prairie State, and other MOPEP-specific projects to garner an enhanced credit rating. And this has been done to a tune of over $1 billion of refinance bonds. For MOPEP, this is an annual savings impact of about $2.4 million, which directly impacts rates. Now, the focus has been turned to the cities themselves, and not just the cooperative group. By improving local infrastructure for MOPEP cities, not only does this help your city, but the creditworthiness of the group. So today, I'm pleased to announce that MUDGMUC and the MOPEP cities are awarding a reimbursement grant to Herman to the tune of $100,229. This is for the purchase of a new substation transformer near the industrial park to complete electric voltage upgrades that will increase reliability of the whole system. Not only does this improve reliability locally, it will improve the creditworthiness of the greater power pool group. This is a win-win for both. So thank you for your leadership and specifically your recent leadership here in Herman. As you know, having a municipal utility has important benefits to the community, including high reliability and service responsiveness, local control, improved economic development, and improved economic development choices. So keep up the good work and congratulations. And I have this big fancy check here that I can give you all. So.
Come on, you hold the check, it's not ours yet.
Okay.
And we'll get a picture here, and then Alderman, if you'd like to come out and get a picture.
Are you guys going to join in, or?
Can I stand on this chair?
Yes, but don't fall.
Because Merman knows this.
Mervin.
That's our insurance.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thanks for the kind words.
Thank you.
We're happy to be a partner with MOPEP, and I think the fact that we own our own electric utility is always been a feather in our city's cap in terms of reliability. We have extremely high reliability, and our ability now to use this money to improve our substation 3, so we will be able to operate the entire city from either 3 or the other one. What is the other one?
2.
2. From either 2 or 3, we'll do away with 1. If we have a problem, we can switch over, run the city from this one, or switch over and run it from that one. Our voltages will be the same. There's efficiencies of scale there, and there's also electric efficiencies that we will actually lose less power. So it's a very good deal for us. I'm not giving this back. I'm going to give it to the lady here.
Actually, how about I switch?
I want the real money.
How about I switch it? I'll take
Yes, we
it.
should probably rather
That's
have
the one she wants.
That's the one you want, yes.
Okay.
And
All right.
can I get one more picture? Thank you.
Okay, here we
Nice,
go.
get the real camera
Big
out.
checks are nice.
Real cute. You want the board behind you?
Yes, please.
This is going back up. Yep. Step back and admire your work.
Got it.
Thank you
All
all
right.
very
Thank
much.
you.
I didn't realize the other one didn't have film in it.
All right.
We don't have film anymore.
Okay, well, that was a nice way to start the meeting.
Yes, it was. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
me to send you one?
Come back to every meeting with one of those.
Yes, very good.
You want me to keep coming back? Is that
Yeah, just
We'll call it special meetings.
Okay, the next bit is my mayor's report, and after that, it's kind of not too exciting, but here we go. By 7:30 p.m. election night, the results were in, and the decision was overwhelmingly in favor of new streets for Herman. The vote totals were 351 yes and 260 no. Proposition New Streets passed. As I reflect on the August 6th election and the large margin of victory, I think of the future of Herman. For the next 18 years, we will have a plan in place and the funds available to continually rebuild all of our streets the way they should have been built in the first place, the right way. The new streets will look better, last longer, and be easier to work on when they do eventually need work in 30 years or so. Because we are repairing streets over a long period, we will never face the situation we are in now with 22 miles of streets needing to be repaired at the same time. Even then, that work will not require the extensive rebuilding, base rock and subsurface cost that we will have to do this time. Future repairs will be less costly and will be spread out over many years. We should be able to make future repairs from operating budget funds without another sales tax. Many of us will not be around in 18 years, but we will be happy that we will always be part of the solution. Herman is now poised to enter a new era where we have advantages over most other small communities. Herman now has superior municipal utilities, tourism businesses, and well-paying industrial jobs, fine school systems, our own hospital, a fiber optic internet system, soon-to-be new library, and now continually improving streets. Our only major deficiency is new housing, and that will come. Why would anyone not want to live here? On to other items. The AT&T cell tower. I have a response from AT&T on that. And it is Cherokee Nation. That's right, the Indian Association dragged its feet longer than expected before providing approval for AT&T to conduct geo activity, take soil samples, and help determine tower and foundation requirements. But we should finally get the drawings added to plans later this month. We'll promptly file, and we being AT&T, file permit application. Federal approval shouldn't take this long, but sometimes we get caught up in the middle of a spitting contest. Forecast dates. The geotech soil sample is due on 8/30, and then tower and foundation drawings will be issued by 9/30. Building and permit application to arrive shortly thereafter. So we're in the latter stages of September into October before we get everything done and they could possibly start to build. So it doesn't look very promising at all for Oktoberfest. MoDOT, highway traffic. There are two areas of work of concern, and I discussed this last week with MoDOT. They're looking for surveys to update our speed limits. 19 north from the Gun Club to H, coming past the Senior Center and the CTOL entrance. Those evaluations are in progress right now. 100 east from a half-mile west of Victorian Place to the city limit sign, that is also in process right now. So MOPEP is working on gathering the data to back up changing the speed limit signs. Both of those are expected to be reduced. We hope they will be. So we'll see. I asked if I could help and they said no. So they don't want me out there right now. Parking line painting in our business district has been going on for a week or so. Did they get to 4th Street? No, they didn't because of the rain. They were going to finish 4th Street, the north side, but because of the rain this morning, they decided it would be best to wait till it dries out, so I think that's a good idea. But they've worked on Schiller, some of 1st Street and 4th Street, made a big dent in it. Looks a lot better, a lot more cars to park, and everyone should like that. The caboose restoration, Gary Liebman and his committee have done a wonderful job of that. You can see it painted, it's not complete. All the decals and so forth, the numbers have to be put on it now. And that should happen this week or next week as soon as it's really dry. So my hat's off and our hat's off to that committee. They raised the fund, made the funds, they made the plans, they did the research, and they did the work themselves. So it's really a community effort. Completely blocking city streets is not permitted by ordinance for obvious reasons. This is a law enforcement issue, so if this happens and you see it, call the Herman Police Department. They'll look into it and do whatever is required. Please don't call if somebody is blocking half the street making a furniture delivery or something like that. We're talking about blocking the entire street. Ordinances and discussions, dates are tentative. Sign ordinance scheduled for discussion on August 26th. Ordinance enforcement officer scheduled for discussion on August 26th. Transportation ordinance scheduled for discussion on September 9th. Guest house checklist ordinance scheduled for discussion on September 23rd. Grants in progress, I'm going to let Mark talk about those because he's well versed and has been involved in those in great detail. And in the SEMA disaster relief funding, although we were advised by the county that we probably would not qualify for any SEMA disaster relief funding, we went through the checklist anyway and did our due diligence, and we're happy to say we have met the threshold amount. Now we have to wait and see if the items we listed are acceptable to the granting to SEMA. And that's basically what I have, Mark.
Okay. Staff and I have been gathering hours and equipment data for a possible reimbursement from FEMA for the last flood. Still have some cleanup at the airport, but that's just about wrapped up. And speaking of the airport, I met with engineers from Burns and McDonald and representatives from MoDOT Aviation last week. We looked over the crumbling apron and other problems as we determined the scope of work for the grant for the airport repair. The final reimbursement for the Community Foundation of the Ozarks grant for our $10,000 emergency preparedness grant came in last week. The grant made it possible for us to purchase signage, barricades, and other materials to use for any type of emergency in our city. And I will submit all the paperwork for the DNR Water Study Engineering Grant this Friday. The grant is $20,000, and the study should give us a hydraulic analysis of our water system, which the city will use to improve and strengthen our drinking water system. And finally, I've met with several companies for our walkthrough of the hospital clinic building that's scheduled for demolition. The proposals are due a week from today, August 19th. That's it.
One other thing, while I was at MRPC last week, the MoDOT has some signs for school pickup areas. I don't know if St. George has such a place, or needs a sign that says thumbs up, phones down.
Buckle up, phone down.
Buckle up, phones down. And if you want one, let me know if you have an area for one. They're brand new, and I put in for several of them. The high school needs a couple, and we have one for the elementary, one or two for the elementary school too. So,
I got some of those coming too.
okay, well, we should have plenty
We
of
should have
signs.
plenty.
Okay, old business. Discussion of a one-way street for St. George School. I see we have representatives here. Would you all like to come up and stand up here so we can hear and see you better, and so can everyone else? Now, I don't know if you have a presentation or you want the alderman just to ask questions.
I was gonna say, we just wanted to show you what kind of our proposal was as far as the way we'd like cars to try to not cause any extra congestion on 4th Street, but to make it as safe as we can for the kids, and to keep 4th Street one way, and then also possibly Mozart one way going down.
The initial discussion with the school was to make 4th Street one way during school hours, which would be, was it 7:30 to 3?
7 to 3:30.
7 to 3:30, okay. And that would be one way
That would be one way west from the
West.
from the bottom
On
hill.
4th Street.
from
Going up the
from
hill?
Market, yes.
Going up the
Yes.
hill. From Market.
So it'd be this way, this way.
Yeah.
And then also, when you get to the top of the hill, Mozart would be one way going north, which it should probably, in my opinion, stay that way all the time. It's a terrible. You come, yeah, it is, it really is.
That's really the only two things that we're proposing with you guys. This here is basically our dismissal policy that we're gonna put in effect. And it's basically just because they're in our parking lot where we have the parking spaces. When you pull in those parking spaces, people are starting to leave when other kids are still coming through the parking lot. And we have such little kids that we're afraid that they're gonna back over them. So we've decided to form 3 lines, make sure all the kids are in the cars before any of the cars leave, and then they dismiss out 4th Street. So that's just our personal policy.
So they're going to come out on the 4th Street but head west?
They can go either direction when they come out on the 4th Street, because that's going to be both, that'll be both directions there, when they come out of
This
the ring.
way.
Yes.
This is just what's one
This
way.
is just, this
Just
is
to
the only place
Mozart.
that's one way, so they can go both directions here and go down Mozart if they would like.
Will you have someone directing traffic at 4th
Yeah.
out here when they come
We'll have
out?
a teacher, so normally we have teachers dismissing, so we have teachers at the crosswalk, letting kids go across, and then once kids get to the parking lot, the teachers will come back. Now we'll just have a teacher there at 4th Street saying that the cars can't go until all the kids are in their vehicles. So nothing will have changed for the teacher dismissals.
Have you talked with the people that live on that end, on the hill there? Are they okay?
I have not been marked. I know Mr. Stobart does live on that street, and he said too that he didn't think that that was going to be an issue. But I have not personally spoken with anybody.
So if people live on the hill part, say they back out of their driveway, will they get in trouble if they go down, or will it be okay? Or, I mean, it's,
My thing is just the school area, where we don't have any residential homes there. I think it's fine, you know, if it's, I don't know that.
You're talking about the people that live from 4th Street to the school.
Correct.
How many residents are on that side? 3 or 4?
Not that many.
Yeah, maybe 5
5
or
or
6
6,
total.
yeah.
You've only got a couple on the
In other words,
east side going down the hill. I'm not even sure if, how many of those houses.
Right.
The people going up the hill are already parked pointing in the
Going
right
up.
direction.
On the
There's
south
people on
side
the
of
other
the
side.
street, I don't think there's that many. There's that many.
Yeah,
There couldn't only be a couple.
1, 2, 3, yeah, I'd say probably 4 or 5.
We'll find out if we do this. I'm sure they'll be talking to us, but
Yeah, so we're only asking during school hours,
Right.
7 to 3:30, and then it can be both ways.
Sure. This is similar to what we've done at the elementary school on 7th Street. So.
How did the residents on 7th Street
Do we need a resolution?
take the?
Well,
one way?
for the most part, they accept the fact it's for the safety of the kids.
Right.
The problem was never the residents that lived there. Believe it or not, 90% of the problem was with the parents. They simply could not behave around that school when they're dropping kids off. I mean, I'm sorry, they're in a hurry, they're late for work, they overslept. That's not,
And that's what we're gonna have here too, and it's the safety for our kids.
Yeah.
That's gotta be the first
the safety of the
priority.
kids is the
Right.
first priority.
Right. And we're gonna have squawking too, I'm sure, but.
Is there just further discussion? I don't want to cut it off. Well, I think we understand what they want. And it will take an ordinance, so if the board sees fit, we could either have Dave write it, we could approve now for him to write it, and bring it back next time and we can approve it.
I make a motion to approve the day right ordinance to allow St. George to have 4th Street be one-way from 7 to 3:30 during school hours.
What about Mozart?
I think Mozart
And
needs to
Mozart,
be one
yes,
way and stay
yes.
that way year
And that's
round.
Well,
stay.
there'd be 2 streets involved. Can you make your motion?
And I would like
For
to
that?
include that Mozart be one-way going north, right?
Right.
I will
We have-
second that.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded for the city attorney to draw up an ordinance designating the proper directions on Mozart and 4th Street as discussed in the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get your names for the minutes, please?
Mike Bueller?
And Karen Lampkin. So then can we tell everybody that this is passed, or do we have to wait for the
We
next
will
meeting?
draw up an ordinance. I think it's going to pass. Everybody voted for it.
Okay.
But we will officially draw, Dave will draw up an ordinance and we'll vote on it. We can vote on it twice in one night and get it all approved officially for the
Okay.
record.
The only thing that I was going to see about doing was getting some kind of like a sawhorse sign made, like the middle or the elementary does, and just put there by church that it's just a one-way street from 7 to 3:30. Is that okay, or do you need to wait till that
Yeah,
approved?
that's fine. We'll get the signs.
The traffic officer here can give you permission.
Yeah, and the only reason I'm pushing this is because school starts Thursday.
Yep.
So if we get them in the habit of doing that now, then we don't have to train them later.
We'll
Good
get proper
idea.
signage.
Good luck.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, I already covered the AT&T cell tower, but there could be questions. Does anybody have any questions about that?
I do. What does the Cherokee Nation have to do with this?
Are there any questions I can answer?
Smoke signals.
I have no idea, but I do know when we were talking about our marina, and Mark will remember this, they said, we don't think there'd be any problem, but it has to be approved by the Cherokee Nation.
It would make a little more sense if it was the Osage or the Femi Osage Indian tribe or something, but that's my knowledge. I wasn't aware any Cherokee tribes ever were in the
Southern Cherokee.
Southern Cherokee.
They're down there, Newburgh, Raleigh.
Okay.
All right?
Then, on a different subject.
It's not why they're involved, it's how.
How? Yeah. Ooh. You'd be burnt down.
Remember, this is on television.
Substation 3, what is the process?
Last I talked to Jesse, just about ready to fire it up and go. I think he's got some transformers to change out, but then I think it's, last I talked to him, he was almost there. I will see in a week or so.
Cool. 69 line.
69 line, have you had a chance to talk to attorneys? Dave may not have had a chance. Remember the electric company, Utility Central Electric? We thought it would be a good idea to start with the attorneys rather than start with the linemen. Because what we want to do, you probably remember, but we want to give them to them, but we want to make sure we have the right to use those as we see fit, and in the future, we don't want to get caught with giving them away like we did with the
I think we have underbilled on those lines also.
Have what?
underbill.
We have our distribution electric on some of those parts.
Right.
Yeah.
And Jesse wanted to make sure that that we didn't interfere with our ability to
Continue.
and even expand it if we needed to.
That's
So-
cool, but winter's coming again where you get ice storms and stuff. We're trying to clean up our system, get things more efficient. This needs to,
Well, you saw
Yes.
the list of ordinances, but I think you'll fit in. Okay, anything else, Dave?
I'm good.
Anybody else? No whole business, other we'll move to
I
new.
have something.
Okay.
Can we reevaluate the stop signs at Washington and 11 and Star? I myself have pulled out and been on, I guess, 11. It's really hard. I'm really thinking maybe we need to go to rumble strips, maybe have Marlon evaluate it this week, the school's starting to see. But maybe a little rumbles. I know we're going to redo our streets, if we could even use the rubber ones to start with.
Well, it just so happens that our city administrator just,
I like that.
I have not heard anything positive about those stop signs. I know we have another, approximately another 30 days.
Roughly 30 days.
Very valuable.
You're talking about the ones there at,
On Washington Street.
Washington
Washington Star.
and
Okay.
11.
but the other ones, we're just talking about those.
Right. I have nothing, no complaints on the ones on 6th or the ones on 5th.
What about 7? Did we put them there at 7?
There's going to be, those locates were called in late last week, so the sign should go up before school starts.
And on those, what we're talking about is 7th Street and Gately, but there's stops at west and east there at that intersection. That's what we're talking about.
There by the school.
that's a school zone.
Okay. All right, good.
So are you ordering those, or what are we doing?
Which ones?
For Washington, Star?
Not yet.
Okay.
I can. I've got.
When did we discuss those?
What's that?
Did I miss that?
We talked
No.
about it in our last meeting about doing
And
something
David
different.
brought it about ramp type.
It's just
We did talk about it.
No.
plastic speed bumps that you can install and then take them out in the winter before snow, I guess.
Yeah, when we go with the snow.
No, it would be rough.
We use them in Owensville. I'm driving there now for home health, and there's a street that has those.
Instead of a speed bump, it's more of a speed hump.
Well, I'm not concerned about that. I'm with her on the stop signs. I think once school starts, you're gonna have a problem with them school buses because they all come at one time and it's gonna be backed up all the way to Washington. I think it's gonna be a big problem, more than you think. Maybe it won't be, but
You're gonna ask
Won't be long to find out.
that's what I'm
the
saying.
chief who's gonna monitor that.
And I kind of measured out today when I was in Owensville, and the residential area I was in, and they're about like every 10th of a mile they had them. So, pretty close. There were 3, I think, in the area I was in, so.
It does.
Speed bumps, every 10th of a month.
They have a speed limit of 25 miles per hour.
They like that up there, though.
You're riding back in the ambulance and hit a speed bump like that doing 10 miles an hour.
You ever rode in anything on the Herman streets?
I know, but we're trying to eliminate that
Yeah,
problem
we're
with the
gonna
streets,
fix
and
that.
you're gonna add more problems.
As automatic CPR.
Okay, anything else? Now for new business. We do have one thing that I know of, and that is we need to discuss or approve the official return of election results. Trish, you want to tell us about this?
Well, these are the certified election results from the county clerk, Lisa Lito, as they were still accurate as were posted that night, as you said before, 341 yes and 260 no. And we just need to make a motion to accept the results as presented, to put them in the minutes.
And that way, it's indelibly etched on in our records. So do I have a motion?
I so moved.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, is there any other new business? If not, give a chance. If not, we'll go to citizens' comments. Do we have any citizens' comments? We have none. Then we'll go to motions. The minutes. What do we want to do with the minutes?
Move to approve.
I'll second that.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Invoices for payment. Bruce usually does this one.
Make a motion to pay the bill.
Dick Kelly.
Second.
We have a
Jim
motion
got it,
made
Jim got the second.
and seconded by Jim, Alderman Jim. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Bills are paid. Hire Susan Clevenger for park maintenance position. Do we have anybody from the park here? Is there any discussion of this?
I move to approve Ben's recommendation.
Second.
A motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Caterers permits. Adam Putta Winery and Stonehill Winery Wine and Jazz Festival, Amphitheater, September 7 and 8, 2019.
I make a motion to approve the permits.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Caterers permit, Adam Putta Winery, St. Paul's Church Picnic, Amphitheater, September 21, 2019.
I make a motion to approve this.
I'll second.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. There being no reports, I will entertain a motion to go into closed session.
One thing, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I should have mentioned this a little bit earlier. I understand that these stop signs aren't real popular. The idea wasn't to stop traffic. The problem is we have traffic problems in this town. We live in a residential neighborhood. People drive too damn fast, and the police can't be everywhere all the time. The speed humps, I'm willing to try them, I'm all for it, but I just like when on Saturday night, my wife and I were walking my sister's dogs on Jefferson Street, and I heard a vehicle coming. It was loud and it was fast. I had my wife get out of the street, and I walked out in the middle of the street in front of that vehicle and stopped it physically. He had to have stopped, he'd have run over me. And I told the young man driving that it's about time to start slowing down. It's a residential area. And he just gave me a dirty look. He didn't get out of the truck, but then I stepped out of his way and let him go. This is what's going on over there. Throwing up stop signs is not a random, oh hell, let's just do it for no reason. I mean, there's a reason that we're trying to slow that traffic down over there. And I'd just like everybody to give that some consideration when they complain about stop signs and speed bumps and everything. There is a problem and we're trying to find a way to solve it. I'm done.
I'll tag on to that. I've talked to the neighbors there along Washington Street, and they all responded that they love the new stop sign. They feel comfortable backing out of their driveways and pulling out of their driveways because of the blind hill coming up Washington Street. They've been close to getting hit by vehicles just pop over the hills. So it's about as broad as it is long.
Jim, it's not just your side of town. At night, you can hear people downtown, these young people speeding. I did it too, so I admit it.
Okay.
But not here though. No, a long time ago. Somewhere else, in another
Yeah.
galaxy. But anyway, and it's that people drive too fast, and the police cannot catch them all. It is against the law. It is dangerous, and someday somebody's going to get seriously hurt. So, that, for what it's worth, I think we know that, but that's that. Okay, now can we move into closed?
I move we adjourn open session and go into closed session. Okay, for the purpose of dealing with matters related to legal action, cause of action, litigation, or privileged communication with the city's representatives and attorneys.
I second.
And with discussion related to negotiations for a contract pursuant to section.
Oh, sorry, that's one of them.
Now we have a second. We need a vote, starting with you.
Aye.
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 Okay, we're in closed session, so we will fix the door and the video.